third episode of High and Empowered. Today we have a very important topic. We're talking about mental health. We've got Oren here, and we have a guest on the show for today, Maddie. Maddie is a member of the Dualistic Unity community, and she has been to previous retreats, and she is going to talk a little bit about her experiences today as well.
Hello, everyone. We've got Maddie, we've got Julia, we've got me. It's going to be a great conversation. If you'd like to talk and ask questions, we're open, we're listening. We're going to have our chats ready to go. Let me just open it up now that I said that. All right, now I see it coming in. So if you have questions, ask. Mental health is something that we should all be paying attention to. Our mental health, how we mentally approach our lives is so important. But we have my audio now that the show starts, my audio's cutting out. But it's so important that we talk about mental health in personal, in business, in life. When we can find ways to combat mental fatigue, mental therapy, it's yes, but when you have deep conversations mentally, that can bring us there. And that's one of the greatest things. I say this is the conversation we're having today. Today, we're going to be talking about mental health, how it affects us personally, our experiences, our therapy ideas, personal therapy ideas of how we combat, mental stress, mental fatigue, depression. So first, I would like to meet our guest. Howdy, hello, welcome to the show.
Thank you guys for the introduction. Hello everyone. It's great to be here. I'm really excited to be part of this discussion and to see where it goes and to just talk about mental health as a whole, the way that we view mental health, the way and also the way that we talk to ourselves and the way that we respond to ourselves as we go through this experience and as things arise, and just everything on the plane of how we respond to ourselves.
Well, before you came to us today, you were having a conversation with Andrew at Dualistic Unity, and just quickly summarize what you guys were talking about, because I really feel that involves mental health. Why? Please quickly explain it, and there's a reason I ask.
So we were talking about how we've been seeing some of the things that we want to do, but we feel this tension and this discomfort, or I don't even like to label it as discomfort anymore. It's just this feeling that feels like it kind of stops you and freezes you in your tracks. And you've been working towards or wanting to do this thing, whether it be public speaking or whether it be just expressing yourself in the moment. Like you can see yourself kind of continuously going around in this whirlpool instead of choosing to step outside of the neural pathway that you've been continuously taking and going in a different direction.
Well, that pathway that you're taking, that continuous loop that we put ourselves on, that's part of mental health. That's part of our discussion. Because we put ourselves in a loop. We put ourselves in a constant, we put ourselves in this constant cycle. And to break out of that cycle is the craziest thing. I mentally have to challenge myself. I have to mentally pull myself out so that I'm not mentally fatigued with all the different things that I'm doing. Sorry, I was just joking for a moment.
No, that's cool. We can see the habit that we want to change, but it's truly down. It comes down to how, or the commitment of the decision of if we actually want to change and to like let go of this habit and create a new one. Are you willing to commit to this decision? But not only committing to the decision, but committing to the decision and making that decision in each and every moment. In each and every moment, there's an opportunity. Say, like for me, it like when I feel this urge of like wanting to pick at my skin, and I can like feel it and I can see it. I'll go to reach for something, and it's like sometimes I'll catch it and I'll be like, hang on, like, is this the direction that we want to go in? Is this what we want to do? Do we want to continue going down this? We know that this isn't beneficial for our skin. We know that this damages our skin. Like, there's also this attachment to the satisfaction that like popping a pimple brings. Like, this is a little bit gross, but like,
more
yeah.
Now it's more taking that moment that we have in life and living now. That's exactly actually how we begin to fix mental health. We talk about it. You know, we not only talk about mental health, we want to be look, we're always looking for a fix. There's no fix. We are the fix. We are the ones that take that step. And you said living it, doing it, staying with it. We make resolutions, and we resolute to be better. We resolute to create more, lose weight, quit smoking. All of this is to help our. I used to smoke for years. I have been cigarette free for 3 years, nicotine free for 2, and mentally, I've never felt better. What I used to control my mood, what I used to control my energy, my outbursts, my anger, my blah 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 blah, my boredom was cigarettes. And now, now it's without nicotine. I find that nicotine was what was bringing me down. I find that nicotine was destroying me mentally and was adding to my mental breakdowns. Not having a cigarette, not having nicotine. All of a sudden now I'm angry because of this, or mentally it's changed me entirely. And my rebirth as a person happened when I quit smoking. I learned who I was and what I was capable of. Sticking with it. That's a big deal. Sticking with it. And just want to mention today, I want to talk about breaking the stigmas of mental health in America, in the world, on a global level. The global stigma to mental health is incredible. But here in the United States, we don't give enough vacations. We don't see our employees as people. We see them as workers, as a number, and we don't consider that they're giving their life, their effort, their energy, their know-how, everything that they've got right there, their vibe, their frequency is being given to an employer. And that employer isn't always giving back that kind of love and that kind of dedication. So that's a mental health crisis in the workplace. We work too much. We forget why we're working. We start working. We're working to pay bills. We're working to get the braces for our daughter. We're working to make a better life for ourselves. But then we get lost in the cycle of work. And mentally, we're bringing ourselves down by working, by not loving our family, but loving our job. Now, it's hard when you love what you do for a living. And I do. I love cannabis. I love teaching. I love educating. I love healing people and bringing them the education of cannabis so they become better consumers. That's what it's about. Also opening their minds to the science of cannabis, where the biodiversity of it can change the world. But we have to be open to these ideas. So by doing that, we're breaking stigmas. I want to identify the signs of mental illness. We can definitely talk social media and mental illness. Julia and I were talking about this the other day before the show, and I'm going to shut up in a moment, but this, to me, is number one. Look for influencers, for people that are in social media, even those that are not necessarily influencers, but really pushing their individual brand, becoming influencers. Social media takes a lot out of you and mentally puts a lot on you. Like, how many views am I going to get? Why am I not getting views? And it's so many different factors. And it's not you. You are amazing. You are magical. you are the most fantastic thing in the world. Don't ever doubt yourself. Post 1,000 videos, if for nobody else but for you. And that's how I combat mental health. I don't let people judge me. I put my video out there. I put myself out there. This is me authentically. This is me not lying about who I am. I'm depressed. Not right now, but I'm a man who fights depression. I'm a man who battles mental fatigue, mental illness, especially in social media. In the last few years, I've been doing a lot more talks, a lot more educational seminars. I've been traveling more for different brands, and I'm out there. And so as my popularity grows, if I'm not getting views for a video, it affects me. If I put out something and nobody sees it, I'm like, I just don't care.
I just want to, sorry, I just want to add to that. What you were saying about like being authentic. I feel like we need a lot more of that in social media, because one of the main things that causes a lot of our stress is that we see like basically the masks that we put on our profiles. We're showing other people the best sides of us, and we should slowly be transitioning to show all of the ups and downs and kind of break down that stigma of, oh, this is the expectation of what a profile should look like. You shouldn't be showing, the behind the scenes of your life that are not picture perfect, and you should have to fit this narrative that society pushes on us, because there is still some expectations from other people, but then a lot of it is our own expectations of ourselves and the way that we want to be portrayed. And I feel like a lot of us don't want to be vulnerable enough to show the deeper parts of us, because we have been hurt in the past and we want to be less authentic, just put on a face. And then as we see people in person, then we open up more about the deeper things. But there is a lot of stigma, and we should definitely try to bridge the gap between reality and just like the mask that we're showing online.
We create, yes, 1,000%. You are 1,000% right. We create this mask from what we see, but this mask and this vision in our head of what life should be, what success in our eyes is, or what we think success is, what we think doing well is, or making it, and that's it's not, okay, but yes, it's that falsity that we create that does create that social media mental haze that we bring into our regular lives, and we expect our regular lives to be that exciting, that picture moment, that whatever. And when it's not, but it is, it already is. We are already living the best life that we allow ourselves to live. And it comes with a lot of weight, Oh, I wish my audio was better. Sorry if it's coming through a little. Is it okay right now?
It's still coming through a little bit clicky, but we can try to work with it. Maybe we can see if there's anything we can do to fix it. But another thing I just wanted to add to the conversation is that I actually had a conversation with somebody in the psychedelics industry as a part of a school project. And then his name is Corey Firth, and he was talking about that with social media, we actually kind of split ourselves into multiple personas, even because like if we think about it, we're on LinkedIn right now. People present themselves as professional on LinkedIn. On Instagram, maybe they're showing a bit more behind the scenes. They're showing more of like them drinking, them letting loose, but still looking good on camera, of course. So we try to create different personas. We almost split ourselves up. Even in person, like when we're talking to certain people, we want to present ourselves a different way based on who we're talking to. And that really makes it difficult, because we're trying to put on so many different acts for different people instead of just being ourselves very similarly in different aspects of our lives. We have to try to think more often about how we're presenting ourselves in certain scenarios. But if we were all more understanding of that we're just human beings, then it could, like, even professional life should be more understanding, and like of mental health, for example. Like we should be able to be open and honest about those sort of things in the workplace, because I know from like personal experiences, working sometimes like say if somebody was having mental health issues, certain employers may not think that's as significant as if they were at home really sick. So like when someone is calling in, a lot of employers probably wouldn't think it's good if somebody's trying to call in because they're struggling mentally. They would compare it and think it's not as substantial. But we need to get over that stigma and realize there are still like issues to be dealt with. Like like if someone died, that would be something that everyone considers substantial. But if there's other mental health issues that are not caused by a significant event, it's thought of as less significant. But there are some times when we get stuck, we feel down, but there's many practices that we can do to try to prevent those negative feelings. Like, and identity is a big one as well, just like what we think of ourselves, what we think of other people, and how that all has to do with the idea of ourselves.
I just want to quickly mention, I think one of the big things that businesses are missing now is the authenticity. Is this a little better, by the way?
Yes.
Okay, good. I changed connections. I'm feeling good about this. I'm no longer glitchy. Hello and welcome, everybody. Okay. So, but no, I'm hearing everything you're saying, and you're absolutely right. And especially when it comes to social media, we have to change the way we approach it. We have to be more authentic. And you're right. People are afraid to show the true them, the faults that we all have. I mean, you know, tell me, what are the faults that you feel you have that, you know, you're afraid to share? And those are the ones that we break down first. When I say that, you tell yourself that. What are my faults? What do I think is a fault? You know, everything I do. Everything I do is there's a fault in it. And I judge myself. You're not judging me, I'm judging me. But I still get out there on social media. I still throw everything I have out there and show who I am and who people are dealing with. Why? Because so many people aren't. I'm just doing it to do it. I don't care if you like me. I don't care if you dislike me. In my life, I've already made it. I have already achieved for myself my dream, my mental, where I want to be. I want to be more. I always want to be more. But where I originally had put myself, I've achieved it. And I achieve it every day by waking up and taking care of my family. I achieve it by every day is by doing the responsibilities that I set on myself, not the ones that society sets. So, cash up.
I think a lot of people are scared of or being themselves, being vulnerable and putting themselves out there on social media for that fear of rejection. I know when Instagram first started, there was a lot of influencers who were manipulating and creating this kind of profile and persona that they were living this life where they were just happy all of the time and where everything was just sunshine and rainbows. And we never saw any kind of contrast between when they were having their highs or their lows. So I think everybody else started to catch on or get this idea that I'm not happy, or I can't be happy unless I'm happy every single day, or I'm not living a fulfilling life unless I'm happy every single day. And so people are
That right there,
basing
what you just said is so important. I don't mean to interrupt, but like I told you guys earlier, just interrupt me. You will interrupt each other, but that was it. We all think just like that. We can't be happy unless we're happy every single day. Look, I think it might have been Ray, I'm not sure, but he was telling me about positivity and how he doesn't like positivity, or he doesn't like the word, he doesn't like the way it pushes, because positivity pushes you to be happy regardless every single day. So maybe I'm not positive. I'm encouraging. I'm encouraging for a better day. I am encouraging and empowering our mental attitude towards the best possible day, always. So we can't be happy every day. Wow. No. but we all want to be. We look at social media and we see all these people happy, even when they're in bad situations. It doesn't matter. For some reason, we see them as famous or happy or in the moment of life when we want to be there. We want to be in the moment of life. We want to be showing off. We want whatever it is. We want that vibe because we want to feel good every day. Living every day is feeling good. Being alive and productive and giving back to those who need my energy is living every day. But that right there, it's our need to be happy. So, sorry, please. I hear it and people need to hear it. We don't have to be happy every day. Every day is not a holiday. Today was not a holiday. Just throwing that out there. Today was a little rough. But I come to the show. I was doing my breathing exercises. This is something I want everybody to do. Look, breathing exercises, controlling your breathing, meditation, recentering yourself, daily affirmations. These things help with the mental stress. Reminding yourself how badass you are. Reminding yourself that you create the day, you create the magic, you create the path. That's the exciting part. So I'm right. Sorry.
No, you're good. I love the enthusiasm. But I think this idea that we've just stuck whenever we feel good, that this is what happy is. Like, I know what happy is because it's this good feeling. But, and then we're looking to all of these influences. Well, they must like you can still have a shitty day and still feel good. You can still be enjoying your day, even though you might be having a shitty day. It's just, it depends on how seriously you take yourself. How seriously are you taking the thoughts that are coming out about how you're perceiving the day? How seriously are you taking your perception on what you think is going to happen next? Where do you think this is going? What do you think your day will lead to next?
But you know something, I've seen people capitalize on the everyday. And even though they're not authentic, they are being more authentic in their social media posts than ever before. I say that because lately I've been on the Tiki-Taki. I've been on the Insta-Cha-Cha. I've been checking it out. I've been looking at it. And, you know, wow. Yes, there is. You have to build yourself. I'm reading one of the comments. So Andrew here is saying there's a lot of strength that can be built from knowing you don't need the affirmations. 1,000%, 100,000%. You're right. When you get to that point and you know that you no longer need to tell yourself how badass you are. I don't. So it's not like I'm getting up every morning and be like, hey, Warren, you are fantastic. You are more than fantastic. You are everything. I don't do that. But I used to. I used to go to that mirror as bad as that day would start mentally. Because remember, it was my mental approach to that day. So as an exercise, I do stress affirmations. I do stress reminding yourself how badass you are, because you are. You are amazing, and you are capable of accomplishing anything that you want to accomplish. If you want to do it, if you're happy doing it, well, you'll do amazing things with it. It'll be bigger than it'll ever before because you want it. And so that's the big deal. You have to want things again. You have to want better for yourself. That's mental health, keeping yourself up there. So there is an insane strength in not knowing that you don't need affirmations. Today, I had a rough day. I mean, and in that, I had to remind myself my mission in life. Not that I forget it. I need to get in touch with it constantly. It's like when I said I fight depression. Depression you fight every day. But I'm not depressed. I may not be the happiest clown in the room, but I'm not depressed. In the sense that I'm not that down. I'm in the middle. I'm fine. I'm okay. And I'm okay with being meh. I'm okay with being it's okay kind of day. Birds are singing, butterflies are dancing. Big ups.
And I think that comes back to where we put our focus on, because if something negative is happening, sometimes it can be needed to go through those emotions and really feel what you're going through, because we don't want to suppress emotions either. But if, say, if your affirmation is encouraging you to just go get the thing done that you've been putting off forever or something like that, just it's kind of like having faith in yourself, but not the idea of yourself, but just faith that you can do things and continue to grow and continue to achieve your goals. But at the same time, I feel like the goals that we set for ourselves sometimes can just lead to this constant striving for more and more. And sometimes it's okay to slow down, because especially in our very productive society in today's age, we try to do constantly more, which is good. It's good to have goals and objectives in life, but we don't have to put that much pressure on ourselves. And sometimes it's good to understand that allowing yourself to rest can also be productive, because if we don't allow ourselves to rest, we're running, and that's how somebody burns out. That's how we all burn out and lose our energy, and it can even cause us to lose our motivation of doing things if we push ourselves too far. And then it's just about finding the balance between not suppressing your emotions, but also not becoming too stuck in the thought loops and being too stuck in the negative feeling, but also not trying to suppress the negativity down like it doesn't exist. And like, because that's where it can become toxic positivity. If you just try to suppress everything and push it down and pretend it's not there, you can say, oh, everything is great, I'm good, I can get through this. The getting through this, that affirmation, that's something good to know, that you can get through it, but it doesn't mean that it feels great right now, and that's okay.
Yeah, like your affirmations can be, they're a tool, but eventually they're going to wear off, and they kind of become this thing where it's like, okay, like I've sort of told myself this thing so many times, like I need to look for something else. You can either like go on to the next thing and keep using that tactic to keep telling yourself this thing, or you can just do it, or you can, for me, when I was having or experiencing a lot of negative self-talk, when I was coming out of this sort of dark state that I had built for myself, I was telling myself a lot of things like, you're stupid, you're dumb, like, why don't you just kill yourself? Eventually, I just, instead of like telling myself something else, I just stopped believing in the things and listening to the things that I was telling myself. I stopped taking them so seriously. I just told myself, no, we're not going to tell ourselves that anymore. And then it's all about bringing your attention away from the noise, away from the process and the thoughts that are going through your mind, and focusing on what is in front of you, what you're doing in the moment, the action. Do something. That's why it's good to just go for a walk. Walking is really good. But when you're walking, think about, how are your arms swinging? How are you holding yourself? How are your feet rolling on the ground? Working out is great because you're drawing attention into your body, into how your muscles are feeling. How are you performing the movement, and where is your motion? And it, and then also to continue that practice in each and every single thing you do. When you notice that you've been a little bit caught up in your mind, you just go, oh my gosh, like, how long have I been here for? Okay, like, we're back in it, we're here, we are here, we're not going to be up here. We don't have to listen to that. It's not about telling yourself something else to replace that. It's just learning to You don't have to pay attention to it. You can be here in the moment. And yeah, because like if you're going to tell yourself something positive, then as soon as like you hear something negative and you believe in that, your brain is going to validate that for you, and you're going to think like, oh, well, maybe I did look like a fool. So if you're always going to be telling yourself the positive things, then you're kind of going to be defending the positive things as well. So, or
No, I can see. No. I see
yeah,
what you mean. And
I had
that
to
actually,
like backtrack there.
no, but I do see what you mean. And actually, this is a great segue to talk about the retreats. So with Dualistic Unity, one of the great things is not a podcast; it's a community. It's a community of people thinking and living and resetting and understanding. There's so much there. And what I'm excited to learn about are the retreats. Tell me something about these retreats. I mean, I want to, and I'm actually looking for the link to be able to put it up there so people can get also more information. I know there's a California mini retreat coming up. Is that
they're,
sooner than?
they're preparing, they're on their way to, everyone is about to meet up for their Virginia retreat, but the next retreat is the California mini retreat.
So, okay. Oh, wait. See, I had it up.
After the
notice
Virginia
on the screen,
retreat.
if you have any questions or curious about the retreats, the one later is the Virginia Beach mini retreat. Or no, that's the one later.
The one that's happening now. And then the later one is California.
And then the later one is going to be the California mini retreat. I believe. Yeah. Wait. Julie, I think you're muted out.
Oh, sorry.
No,
I was
please.
just saying, I think there's more tickets available for the California retreat because there's more time before that starts. The Virginia one's just happening, so that may be sold out, or maybe one ticket or something like that. But yeah, definitely look into the future retreats. The California one, there's lots of spots available, so that is a great opportunity. And going back to just the experience at the retreats in general, I actually haven't personally went to one yet, but I know that Maddie has been to one, or I think several retreats. Is that right? Two. Okay. So when you were there, I'd love to hear a bit more about like your experiences. And I know that they don't have like, it's very low pressure. There's no obligations to do certain things. They have a very fluent schedule where it's more up to the guests and what they feel best about doing in the moment. So how was that experience of having less like time pressure and obligations of tasks to do and worry about, and just being able to be completely in the moment with other Dualistic Unity members?
So the first retreat that I went to was their very first retreat. It was the first retreat that I've ever been to in my life. I had no idea how it was going to go, but I just knew that I wanted to be there. And it was the most welcoming space I had ever experienced in my life, where there was just so much love. There was no judgment at all. Everyone was letting go of themselves. Everyone was putting themselves aside and just being there in the moment. It felt like no one was really bringing themselves into the experience that we were creating together. By towards the middle of it, towards the end, it felt like there was nothing to say. Like you were just really happy to be there and to be with everyone. So I think at that retreat we had 13 people, including myself. And at the Netherlands retreat, it was a little bit bigger than that. I think we had 23 people, and it was great. I think the smaller retreat was definitely a lot more cozy. We were able to deepen into the relaxation, but because there were more people there was and everyone was somewhere different along their journey. Some people were trying mushrooms for the first time, so there was like these sort
So
of
that's what's great
waves of
about these retreats. Look,
resistance.
it's not just about, it's about breathing again. It's about being able to explore in a community of people where you're safe. There's a big deal to that. And when I say that, the older you get, like me, I'm getting a little bit older. I'm not saying I'm old. I'm getting older. We're all getting older every single day. But the older we get, the more leery we are sometimes about trying things to help open our minds again because of the environments that we're in. Mental health is so important that retreats with community where you feel safe is everything. It's a vibe and a frequency that we put off together, that we always kind of resonate together. You know, it's that's the greatest thing about, I believe, these retreats because it's community, because it's togetherness, because there's a great vibe bringing everyone close, you know, mentally, whether they're over here or over there, you know, it's a place to bring their journey. And so that's that to me. Netherlands sounds exciting. That just sounds like such a beautiful, incredible trip. And so now there's more coming up. So you said there's the Virginia. Um,
It's about to happen,
oh,
like,
sorry.
yeah, it's about to happen. And then the
I'm
next one
like
after
behind
that,
it times, you know.
and the next one after that is the California. But I think the most that I've taken away from the retreat is that there is no community. Like dualistic unity is not a community because it's just you. It's just you expressed infinitely. There is no separation. Yes, we have this gift of perception and duality and perceiving separation, but there is no togetherness when you realize that we're all just one and that it's just you being with yourself, you just being with multiple versions of yourself, and that, yeah, but you because we're all letting go of our identities, of we're all letting go of who we think we are, who all of what society reinforces and wants you to think that you are separate, because that's how it benefits in the ways that it does. It wants people to fight. It wants people to strive and to like be against each other. If we were all working together, then it wouldn't be the way that it is right now. People wouldn't be benefiting from it. So it's about, for me, it's letting go of thinking that I am Maddie and that I am just this singular or this individual, that I am everyone who is
But
there.
we
But
are singular as a group. We are singular as the entity that creates this universe and this world around us. We are one energy combined, creating this vision of life. We are the creators of all of it. And yes, we are individual, but we're not. We are everything. Please.
I just wanted to add this insight I feel is one of the deeper insights that talked about in the podcast. So I feel like it's just worth mentioning. Anybody who's listening, it may be beneficial to go back to episode 1 of Dualistic Unity. It's recommended to start at the beginning and go through to really understand the key message of that we are all one. Because like Oren was saying, we have our individual experiences, but we are all, people use the word connected, but even that is dualistic in its nature. Words are dualistic in their nature, so it's hard to verbally explain, but the recognition is that as much as things are connected, it's all made of the same atoms and the same structure. So we're at the end of the day all one consciousness, but expressed infinitely through different experiences. Different people go through different experiences, which makes us all unique, but at the same time we are all inherently one at the end of the day.
yeah, like you're having the experience of Julia, Oren is having the experience of Oren, I'm having the experience of Maddie, but at the end of the day, we are never what we think. But I
Ain't
think
that the truth? Oh my God. Just want to say that is the absolute truth right there. At the end of the day, we are never what we think we are. We should always think that, look, I'm always, though, for pushing your energy, even though we are not as a group. But I feed off of groups. I feed off of their energy. When I say that, I can feel their energy. I can feel a group's energy and I can sway it, whether it be business, whether it be personal. But I do it to feed my soul, my mind, my thought process, my decision making as a group. Groups and communities excite me because that's what we're missing. Not religion, not education, even though education is within a group. I mean, you do it individually, but you learn differently. I mean, you're going to learn individually no matter what. And you'll gain your own personal opinion and knowledge on things, but through a group, I find out new things through community, through the energy of learning through others and learning about others. So, in that, you're right. And you're right. Go back to Dualistic Unity episode 1. I put a link up just a second ago. I'm going to do it again really quickly because I'm feeling really fancy right now. Boom. It's like magic. So, in that, check it out. The shows are great. And there are a ton of them. I think the other day that they celebrated 400 episodes. And recently, Julia was telling me about they're working on a book. Oh, very nice, very good, very exciting. And it is, because that gets it to a larger audience, a different audience. Some people like to read and they want to be able to go back to a book and see these ideals and these understandings and these experiences, because that's how we create life as a group. Even though it's dualistic in its nature and we are in our own version of life, I still think that's like the multiple dimensionality holographic theory where, we could just be playing our own story within our reality. And we are. We are. We are playing through our own story, but we're in control of it. And I do want to mention, so mental health, that's where we are in control. We are learning to be our real self. Yes, we have to let go of self, but first we have to know who that is. I think when I say mental health in workplace, mental health in social media, mental health and personal relationships and life, we need to know who we are, what we want. We need to know that we are important, even as the individual within the group, as the one. We're all the one, but we need to know that we're more than that. We're more than that because we want to be. We're more than that because we can be, we will be, because we create the narrative. I combat my mental fatigue, my stigma. You said it a little while ago, Maddie. Walks, breathing. I love to get out here in nature. I live on 7 acres. And, other than my dogs barking like crazy, which is a little mental stressing, I love them. I love them. Just why do you have to bark the whole time? It's a cat. They're like, cat, cat, cat. Look, it's a cat. It's a cat. I'm like, I know it's a cat. They're reminding me. Other than that, the deer, the bunnies, the stars at night, that's how I combat mental health, is by taking myself out of the rat race, taking myself out of the scenarios in life that create, look, at a certain time at night, I turn off the phone. I don't know. I mean, look, during the day, it's like a job. Social media is like a job, but it's a job that I do. Social media right now, I don't work for anybody except for Dualistic Unity, in the sense that we are helping to advertise their great message and to turn more people on to the understanding of where they come from, and these retreats and the book that's coming and these 400 incredible podcasts. It's you have to recreate yourself, your idea of self. That's why when you say, you have to let go of the self, before ever letting go, You have to know who you are, what you are capable of. Take your experiences in life that create the person and write your own book. Write your own understanding of what's brought you to now. And I empower you to do these things. You empower you to do these things. You're right. No affirmations needed. No over loving of self. But you do. You have to love yourself before you can love others. You have to help you before you can help others. So take breaks, take vacations, take walks, breathe in nature. So that's how I look at it.
Yeah.
That's how I approach it. And that's why I love these to me an available resource is a retreat, is the podcast, is the community. Because as a community, they bring dualistic unity together, the yin and yang of what we are. You know, the yes and the no, the constant indecisiveness of life. That's what the community helps bring. That's the energy and the excitement of warmth and welcoming that they have. So definitely, I hope you scanned and learning more about those retreats. So tell me, what exercises, Julia, do you do to combat school and pressure and life? What do you do specifically to help you? You know, to
Yeah.
and we're going to talk about dual community, the book release, and everything else as we get closer. Please give us more information as we do. But I want to hear from you. What are you doing to breathe again?
Yeah.
You know, to combat.
So that's a good question. So recently, I've been finding that as much as there are a lot of assignments coming up in school, you can really, as we were saying, go back to the present moment. And the more that we do that, the easier it is to just be. Because if we're thinking about everything that's down the line, it's gonna feel like a weight. And I feel like that's something that Maddie was kind of brushing on earlier. Sometimes we have things that we want to get done, and we just we procrastinate and we push it off. But it helps to let go of the weight a little bit if you're just focusing on the next step in the current moment. So that's something I try to do. I try to practice mindfulness, just being where I'm at, focusing on what can I do at this moment. Because I obviously can't do 10 assignments at once. So it's like you don't have to think about the pressure of what's down the road as much until it gets a little bit closer. And then you can put more of your attention into it as it moves along. Because it's about just enjoying the journey and not fixating so much on the end result as well, because there's a lot of pressure that can come from trying to be perfect all the time, and it's just allowing yourself to get as much as you can done in the moment. But at the same time, if you need a break, give yourself that break. If you need to go eat, to go shower, to go do whatever, make sure you're not hyper focusing too much on the things that are on your to-do list that you feel pressure to get done. That's what I've been trying to practice, just not putting as much pressure on myself. As much as I know there's things that are there that I am supposed to accomplish, I just take time to breathe, take time to take care of myself mentally and physically, as well as take time to work on the projects and work on the things that I want to do. Because that's kind of what I was trying to say before. Like, it's good to have goals or to have a direction in life that you want to follow. But at the same time, it is helpful to just be open to all of the possibilities and open to change, open to what could happen, because we never really know. As much as we were saying, we don't know really, we know aspects of like ourselves, and we're still able to change those aspects, because one day you can feel a certain way and then the next day that will change. And it's just being open to that unknown of what the future holds. And it doesn't have to be perfect all the time, because that perfect is really something that we create for ourselves. Like, what is perfect? There really is no perfect way to do something. So it's just trying to do it to the best of your ability, but just really focusing on what you need, and not just trying to push one specific thing that we have to get done, or like a certain way to do things. there's no should, there's no perfect way to be or do things. It's just doing them to the best of our ability and trying to be attentive to what is best in the moment, and that will gradually unfold into the potential of the future and what that will bring into the unknown.
That's, look, both of you now have created something beyond, look, you can't be happy every day. And in that, you have to be able to still achieve and still push and still be the strongest you can be. I did want to mention really quickly, look, mental health in the workplace, take vacations. Don't be afraid to ask for those vacations. Like you were saying, taking breaks. How do we combat mental health? We do it to ourselves. We do it to ourselves because we stop valuing ourselves. We forget about who we are and how powerful and strong, but we need a break. We need time off. We need a chance to enjoy life again and see the beauty of it, because we can forget it so easily when we're stuck in a 9 to 5. If we're stuck doing the same pattern that you do every single day, even if your life is relaxing, look, you want to be revitalized in life. You need to remind yourself how beautiful life is. The birds singing, how gorgeous that song is that we don't listen to because we're too busy mentally so many other places. Taking that break. So for work-related mental health, I'm stating this. Ask for vacations. Take your time off. You'll never get it back. You'll never get those moments back. And I've been on this mission this year. I mean, I've always been, but this year, to live every second to its fullest. The moment we are having right now is the last time we will ever have this moment like this. That's exciting. That combats mental health or mental stress and mental degradation. It combats depression because it reminds you, we want instant gratification. So I'm giving you instant gratification. Reminding yourself, it's not an affirmation. It's enjoying those moments. Look, the other day I had to sweep up and clean, and it was a big job, and I'm stopping. I'm looking. I'm like, I'm loving this. Oh, I'm really enjoying sweeping. I was dancing around. It's like I haven't swept in my whole life. I do a lot of chores, but I was so happy because I realized I'm not going to get this moment again. I'm not going to get this moment sweeping this floor. But it woke me up in a way that I was like, I'm sweeping the floor. I'm going to make it look so good. And then I was done and exhausted because I'm dancing around and singing and screaming to myself. And when I'm done, I'm like, okay, I'm done. I'm done. But it excited me and reminded me that I'm not going to get that moment again. And then I sat down with my daughter and we watched cartoons, and I'm not going to get that moment again. Because tomorrow she'll be twice as big. And the day after that, she'll be 4 times as big. And those moments are everything. That's it. The moments that I share with individuals, that's everything. That's how I combat my stress, because that's why I said I need groups. I need people. It's living life with others, through others, for myself, in healing, in friendship, in love. I'm combating it by reminding myself every second that every second is the most amazing. And it is, like right now. I love this. I'm sitting in the bunker. Well, I've mentioned it before. This is a really old RV. And I'm sitting in the middle of the woods right now on my property, and this is my office. This combats mental health. I look out and see a pond, and I see the sky, and I see there's an eagle over here somewhere. Wow. But I wouldn't pay attention to that if I'm too busy. I wouldn't pay attention to that if I'm just thinking work. And when I was just thinking work, I didn't see the eagle necessarily. I didn't sit with my daughter. I didn't breathe in the day and enjoy what life had to give me. Because because the work took it away from me. The traffic took it away from me. The stress and the exhaustion mentally and physically by the time I got home took it away from me. And all I want to do is sit on the couch and look at the news. That took it away from me. I don't watch the news. But the news will take it away from you. It'll depress you. It'll give you the worst of what's happening in society right now. And by concentrating that way, my life went that way. But by changing the direction of how my life goes, started here. Julie, I was mentioning it really quickly, but before we jumped into this today, there's something on YouTube I saw by someone Nightingale. It's one of those where they draw and talk at the same time, characters, but beautiful way to learn visually and audibly. So, and they're talking about the strangest secret in the world. So if you go look it up when you get a chance on YouTube, it's called The Strangest Secret. I can't talk. The Strangest Secret in the World. And it all really comes down to mindset. So today I wanted to get this out there before I talk forever. But we change the way we see the world, and the world changes around us. We carry that with us, and that frequency, that energy, that vibe comes back to us. If we carry the negative thoughts with us, those thoughts are attracted to us. The laws of look, it's the dualistic unity. We have to change the vibration of what we put out. In mental health, I remind myself now. I don't even have to remind myself. I don't have to give myself affirmations. I just look out there and it just comes to me now. It's just, wow, holy shit. Just breathe. Just breathe.
I think based off of what you shared, like just being there with your daughter, being there and cleaning, another thing that is really beneficial from my perspective in mental health is just doing things for the purpose of doing that thing. So it's just like being there with your daughter, just to be there with your daughter, just having this conversation, even just to have a conversation. It doesn't have to be all about the end result, as I kind of touched on earlier. It's just doing things for the sake of doing and being able to enjoy where you're at, as much as we're obviously going to grow in the end if we keep going through something. It's just about being there in the process as you're growing. And then the more that also leads you to be more authentic in what you're doing, because you're not expecting it to go somewhere. You're not expecting it to have this specific ending. It just leaves it open-ended. It leaves it room for it to change. And another thing is that
it's the journey. Just to say, it's the journey. I mean, there is no end result. There's no, take over the world strategy. And by the time I get there and I've taken over the world, that's what I've accomplished in my life. That was my goal. No, it's the journey of the journey of everything. That's what I feel life has become. Not just become, it should become more about. We should see it for what it is. And I like simplicity. And that's keeping it simple. We overcomplicate everything. And it's a journey.
And another thing that we also kind of overcomplicate is our value, because we think that we can gain and lose the value, especially like by gaining a certain title or by a certain accomplishment or a certain material thing that we own now, or having a certain amount of money. We think that that raises our value and makes us better or worse. But in reality, we are just as we are, and it doesn't really, our value shouldn't be considered as something that fluctuates based on what we have, because we're just learning and we make mistakes, and that's how we learn. So it's our value is something that we shouldn't feel can be taken away from us. And that's going back to the subject of positivity. Sometimes, I guess, if we are considering ourselves to be a certain level, or consider something about us to be positive, and then somebody comes from the other side and says, oh no, I don't think you are great, or I don't think they try to bash what you're saying is positive about yourself. It's kind of like a chair being tugged out from underneath of you. You just, what you're holding on to, say you're grateful for something and that gets taken away, are you going to be happy still without that, or are you going to be able to be comfortable with that reality? You have to just be comfortable wherever you are, even if you're going through hardship. You just have to be able to accept the experience for whatever that experience may be.
Yes, taking responsibility in that sense of accepting the situation, accepting it for what it is, as bad as it can be. It's also how you see it. Don't get me wrong. People live hard lives, and life is so tough in so many, and it's unforgiving. But who's unforgiving, me or them? Who's making it hard? If I'm bringing myself down, I'm making it harder. Look, I love life. I love people. I love the energy of community and unlearning and relearning life and yourself, to let go of self. But all of that, it's the journey. It's the letting go. And it's giving yourself value. Don't overvalue. Don't over understand yourself. We are I look, it's about coming together in a different way. It's about learning the people around you. For me, this changes things. It changes everything. That's why I talk about community and talk about positivity. It's not being positive about a bad situation. It's looking at the bright side. That's where I wanted to bring this to. It's looking at the bright side. That fights everything. Look, my day is not roses. My life is not roses. I do live on 7 acres. I live basically with no money in the sense that I want for nothing. I have nothing to show off other than my love for people, my love for life, my love for the energy of making others see the brighter side of life. That's it. Just that one little step, that one little thing that we can do. See things brighter. Yes, they can be hard. Yes, there are some situations that call for, you know, maybe looking at things slightly negative. But there's life. We're breathing. We're eating. We have shelter. We have clean water. I mean, how many people don't? How many people are dealing with atrocities worse than we could ever imagine? And it's not counting your blessings. It's not saying that the lottery of life has been good to you. But you have to keep your brighter side there. Because if not, life crushes you. It crushes you under a weight that is very difficult to get out of. So if you have to fake it till you make it sometimes, I'm sorry. But sometimes you have to remind yourself. You do. And it's not faking it till you make it, but maybe it's a little pushing it till you really feel it. I don't feel it every day. Look, I am a happy-go-lucky individual, but I don't wake up this way. And to know my personal life would know my personal struggle with happiness and acceptance, because I struggle with it as well, and with letting go of self. Because especially on social media, I don't want things to be about me. I really don't. I want them to be about the understanding and the education and the acceptance of new things and sciences. I want to reach people, but in that I have to promote and push myself. So it's a battle, and I do it to help. I do it to reach more people so that they can see the brighter side of life. If we all start to see it like that, we all create that energy around us. Remember, you carry and attract the energy that you're putting out. So sometimes you have to charge that battery with an affirmation. Just remind yourself that you're badass. That's it. It doesn't have to be the same thing. One day, look at the mirror and be like, "You're amazing." That's it. That's all you need. Get the hell out. Stop looking in mirrors. You know, you just say you eat small things, small steps to changing how we approach our workplace with our mental health, because work is not everything. Life is everything. The moments that we spoke about are everything. Your moments with your daughter, with your son, your moments at the football game, the baseball game, your moments there as part of that magic is everything. It's not where you're going, it's how you go there. Because that's what life is. We all know where the hell we're going. We know the eventual end, or maybe not the eventual end. I'm just saying, I got my own thoughts. But in that, I'm not taking anything with me, but the energy and life of every single person that I've been able to experience with. That's how I've changed my life. I've changed my mental attitude, my mental perspective. I'm not taking cars and jewelry and suits. I'm not taking a nice house, because I don't live in a nice house. I live in a trailer. And I may not, and that's where I'm at the moment. That's while I'm building bigger and better things. I am never happy with where I am. And that's a problem I have, because it's not that I want more. I just do more. I do want to experience constant life, constant joy and sadness. The sadness comes. It's like can't have, light without darkness. And so there's always good and bad, or bad and the good. A little bit. Sometimes it outweighs each other.
And
But that's it.
sorry, just since you
Please.
mentioned the good and the bad, I also want to bring up that comes down to perspective too, because as much as like you may go through an experience that seems negative at the time, but going back to again how we don't know what's best for us necessarily, as you go through that negative experience, it could end up being something that teaches you a very valuable lesson and helps to guide you through life. So in the moment, things can feel good or bad, but it does really, it's based on the perspective and the bigger picture as well, because as much as you're one part of it, there's many other aspects to that, and there's many, like we experience time, so later down the road we don't know how that will play out. There might be a really big benefit to something we went through that's a hardship.
No, and that's the good and the bad. That's sometimes for the joy that we seek, we don't realize the destruction that it's making. There is a cause and effect. Regardless of how we shape our individual perspectives and our individual dimension of life, there's still a cause and effect for others. And that's actually perfect, because right there, that's why I want us to just do that one little thing, just brighter side of things. By doing that, we change the energy as a collective. Look, as a collective, we are creating this right now. These are my personal views on it, but as a collective, we create the world around us. Okay, in short, I'm just going to simplify it. By doing that, our thoughts also create the energy of this world around us. As a collective, we can change so much about the energy and the heart that is pumping in this planet. There are so many things we need to do as humans, not just ecologically, but for each other, and the understandings for humankind, the person next to us. We forget we are not authentic. We are lost in social media. We are lost in work. We're lost in the wrong places. So one small thing we can do, put the phone down. If you are used to scrolling nightly through social media, don't. Stop for a moment, breathe, realize you have a brain that is working beyond the phone. Even though the phones are incredible, You have a brain that works beyond it. You have a life beyond that false idol. Almost want to say it like that, but that false narrative of life. That's not life. What you're living is life. What you're breathing in is life. And if you want more life, go get it. If you want to experience more of what there is around you, start with a hike, start with a walk, start with a drive to an incredible place archaeologically around you that you would have never thought to go look at. Just go. Nothing stops you but you. Nothing is holding you back but you. So you have to break your stigma against yourself. Just get up and go. That's what I love. You want more life, go get more life. Start creating that energy around you that you want more. But not money, not cars, not things that don't matter. They don't matter. You want more life. Love it. I'm excited. Something, by the way, I just want to mention, you guys have been great. This has been great. This has been a very good energy. And, I think just talking about mental health is such an important thing. And when I say that, just sitting here discussing the different things about I'm just throwing it out there. That's where we start. We're going to do other episodes about mental health because to me, it's one of the most important topics. Combating mental health, learning see the signs of it, learning and understanding what affects you, and starting to love yourself and take breaks. Love yourself and go on vacation. Love yourself and do a retreat. Wow. These are great starts. Go on a walk. Breathe in life again.
Yeah, sorry, Julia.
It's okay.
But just take some time away from even just being around other people and just be with yourself and find out what you like to do with yourself and by yourself. Because if you don't uphold those boundaries when it comes to work, they're going to take you for everything that you've got. They're just going to keep taking you. If you give a little bit and a little bit and a little bit, they'll just keep taking and taking. You've got to learn to take that time off and just do something for yourself and to just get away from the hustle and bustle and to just go out and be and feel and breathe and just to come back to life and appreciate the small things and just appreciate how incredible this experience is and how lucky we are to be here, to have this experience and to just...
So we have to allow ourselves. I'm just saying, we have to allow ourselves to accept that because we are also the ones, as soon as you said, when work takes advantage of things. If we give them that opportunity, then they take advantage of it. If we don't take the time off, if we don't take our weekends or our evenings, I shut the phone off to work. After 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock, I don't take work calls. You're not paying me to answer the phone. I'm living my life. But we have to, like at the beginning of the call, you were saying you have to follow through. Look, it's not just about the realization. It's not just about the knowing. It's the doing. We have to remind ourselves to do it. We have to remind ourselves to stay strong. We forget. It's like resolutions. And I hate resolutions because we put so much pressure on ourselves, mentally, physically, and we put so much pressure on look, say you quit smoking on New Year's. Your body goes into a whirlwind. Now you've got no nicotine in your system. Your oral fixation is gone. And look, there's stress. And oh my God, you got all these other things happening. When you overdo something, or if you do something immediately like that, your body goes into psycho mode. If you gradually do things in steps without pressure behind it, usually that's the best way to quit. That's how I ended up quitting, was not on a New Year's, but just stopping. And gradually coming to that point of stopping. Because I got to a point where I was just comfortable not having one. which was so weird for me. And I just didn't. I mean, I got to a point where it's like I got to the point where I did not need to give myself positive affirmations. Same thing with quitting smoking. I got to the point where I did not have to pick up a cigarette. And now I look back thinking, I cannot believe I ever smoked cigarettes. But I still smell them and, oh, that's just lovely. Just blow it in my face. No. But that but that's the thing. We have to have that strength. This has been this, by the way, if anybody needs to go at any time, let me know. But if not, when look, as a group, as people, we start to break the stigma around mental diseases. Life gives us PTSD. Traffic, bosses, husbands, wives, schools or teachers or laws or police, the 1,001 things that direct our emotions throughout the day gives us PTSD, gives us mental stress. When you said sometimes just being alone, do want to mention meditation is amazing. Breath work is amazing once you learn to breathe, once you learn to be quiet and hear just you. And I believe in talking to yourself, not out loud, if you can help it.
Especially if you're somebody who happens to get wrapped up in a string of thoughts or like constantly overthinking, then I feel like meditation and breath work is especially helpful because it just allows you, like we were talking about before, to get back to where you're at and focus on what you're really feeling in the moment. But also, if you're a bit more experienced in doing that and you're able to let go of your overthinking without being in a formal meditation setting, you can almost meditate just throughout your life, even just bringing yourself back to where you are, just gradually throughout the day without it having to be a practice that you rely on consistently. Again, if you're really struggling to let go of the consistent thoughts and overthinking surrounding ideas of yourself and what's going to happen next and all of those things, it can be really helpful. But then you can also just do it consistently in small times when you need to throughout the day, just taking a moment to remind yourself of where you are. And another thing that I was thinking about bringing the conversation back to is just how we judge ourselves and think about the judgments of other people, but it's really just like we're all so caught up in ourselves that it's mainly our own judgments more than other people, because we're thinking about ourselves all the time. So typically with most people, they're caught up in themselves in today's society anyway. Like we're all just focused on what does that mean about us. So like when we think someone else is thinking about us, most of the time that's not really the case as much as we think it is. It's not everybody conspiring and thinking about all of the negative things about us or putting us down. Usually they're thinking about how the situation involves them over how the situation involved us. I think I even heard there's like I'm not sure if this is factual information, but like usually if somebody thinks about an instance, like say you say something stupid in a conversation, they might think about that for like 15 seconds and then you'll be out of their mind and then they'll be on to the next thing in their life, because there's so much going on, like we were saying, like there's thing after thing to worry about. And that's why it is such a good practice just to bring yourself back to the moment. And that's how meditation can help if you need it, but then it can be done just consistently throughout the day without it being a formal practice.
Working it in, like microdosing meditation into your day. I love that. No, that's a great takeaway from today. Microdosing meditation. I'm just saying, I like that because she's absolutely right. And we are so lost in our own thought of us. And that's why letting go of self is such an important thing, because you realize you're part of the whole. But it's so hard to get there because you have to, there are moments where you have to remind yourself that people are only thinking about themselves. They're thinking about themselves and their life and their dimensional life within that 15 seconds of you. If you pass them on the street, maybe 10, 20 seconds, maybe somebody loud and crazy, you remember the loud and crazy, or the individual, maybe a couple of minutes. But after that, maybe it's a faint memory. People don't think of you that way. They think of themselves and how they reacted in that situation, how they looked in that situation, how they acted in that situation. I can't remember anybody. When I say that, I'm not judging anyone at any time in my life. I pass thousands of people. I deal with thousands of people. I don't look at them for anything other than, you know, them and the energy of who they are. So we pass it over to Julia, because I could talk forever, and we're going to have a lot of conversations about mental health and stability and what we can do to attack the global stigma of mental health and workplace mental disabilities, and you name it. Anyways, okay.
Yeah, I feel like we've covered a lot of different topics in this conversation surrounding mental health. And me and Oren both kind of touched on some things that we do to bring ourselves back to the present moment, or just to deal with things going on in our minds and all of that. I just am wondering, Maddie, is there one specific piece of advice, or just a practice, or not even a practice, but like anything that you remind yourself of, just to like help you get out of like the funks of life, or just when you're feeling like you're in a rut, you're stuck, you're feeling down? Is there anything that you do to bring yourself back up, but not like in the way of toxic positivity, but just to make yourself feel better, or just to bring yourself back to the moment? I'm just curious if there's any specific things you do to help yourself when you're feeling down.
Great question, Julia. I actually went through a little bit of, I guess you could call it a rut, or like a phase maybe about a week ago, where I was just really giving a lot of weight and false certainty to a lot of the thoughts that I was experiencing, and where I thought I was going, or where I thought I was headed. And there's some really like just small, straightforward things that I'll kind of remind myself. One of them being like, I don't know. I don't have control, and I never did. And I think the one that really got me out of my rut was when I like really just stopped and like sat with myself, or paused when I asked this question of like, how can I be so sure or certain that this is going to happen, or this is going to be this way, or that this is going to last forever? Because I don't know. And just recognizing that you don't know what's going to happen in the next 5 minutes. You don't know what's going to happen the next day. Learning to increase the gap between my thoughts and I, and not taking them so seriously, and recognizing when I am giving into an assumption, and that most of the time, like whenever I am assuming something, it kind of falls apart. Like reality will just kind of disprove the assumption straight away. But I think asking myself, how can I be am I so sure that or how can I be so certain that this is true? How can I be so certain that this is what's going to happen, or that this is where my life is projecting, or that this is where this is going to lead to? Because I don't know. And when I let go of that, and when I don't take that so seriously, everything just seems to change. Everything seems a little bit lighter, a little bit brighter. And I feel like I can relax. And it's because, you just don't know. And it's okay. Like no one knows where we're going. We're all just experiencing this unfolding together. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It's just really simple.
Yeah, that's great. I resonate with a lot of what you said. I feel like it kind of relates back to just questioning our assumptions and embracing uncertainty, which is something they talk about a lot on the Dualistic Unity podcast for sure. And another thing that I've found very useful for myself when I feel like I'm in a rut, or usually what gets me there, is thinking about myself. So something I know that Ray says very often is just to remind yourself, like, oh, I'm thinking about myself again. Because then often like that comes with the assumptions and like where you're going to go in life and what's going to happen next, but like you said, the reality is just that we don't know. I know, Oren, you you seem to be going through some thoughts over there. Did you have any closing remarks about the topic?
Well, I'm always going through something mentally. It's a journey that I'm on as well. This podcast is representative of Julia's journey and her empowering herself to talk to people, talk to crowds, be more social in that sense. But it's all of our journeys to empower ourselves, understand who we are, and have strength to approach the day. And so, especially on the topic of mental health, you know, I it's being you. Just be you. You don't have to be anybody else. You don't have to try to be anybody else because you are amazing. And in what you were saying, you're right. It's just a little bit that we do, a little bit brighter that we look at the world around us. And that energy carries and comes back to us. Remember, what you put out comes back. You have to be open to receive better in your life. So you have to look at your life just a little bit brighter, just a little bit better. It's that little bit. Look, I love that we are so open to conversation and that even our different thoughts on this subject all come together. That's the vibe. That's that's fantastic. That's a success. Today is a great success. Thank you for joining us. Thank you everybody for coming. We're going to be here next Wednesday on same time, same place, same streams. That being said, let me just throw it out there. I don't know if anybody have any like I don't know. I think I have like an Insta cha-cha that you can follow me on. Anyways, I'm out there. Find me. It's just fun stuff. It's nothing too serious. Here, this is high and empowered. And that is a wrap today. Thank you for joining us.